I begin today by acknowledging the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, traditional custodians of the land on which this podcast is recorded today. Also pay respects to the elders past and present, and extend that respect to any other Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people who may be listening today. This is Melanated in Melbourne, a podcast designed to give an insightful look into the Australian lifestyle from the lens of two Black American besties. Welcome back, Melanation. I'm Ri'chard.
And I'm Nicole.
And this is Melanated in Melbourne.
Melanated in Melbourne.
Yes! We are back. We are back, baby.
We're so back.
With a very, very special guest.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jesse Dutlow. My pronouns are they and them. Oh, my God. They love me.
They them love you.
Love me. And happy Black History Month.
Happy Black History Month.
Is it still going to be Black History Month when this airs?
We'll see.
I hope so.
You know what? Every month is Black
Yeah,
History Month.
well,
Let's be
that's
honest.
true.
I know,
Every
that's
month is
right.
Black History Month.
Especially with the way things are going now. We're going to take all the months because February is
It's
the shortest one.
one.
Why did they do that to us?
Racism.
Because, you know, they just like to play in our faces.
He's like, which one can we give them?
No, but surely we picked the month, right?
The
white people gave us this month?
Yes, because I think when, I want to say it was Martin Luther King.
So they gave us Black History Month?
Who
Was
fought for
fighting
it?
for it? Oh, that's a very good question.
Oh, see, this is now I'm really showing that I don't have all the history
But
and
that's
the notes
okay.
in
We could
front of
always
me.
Google it.
Yeah, we can Google it, but I'm going to go with my ignorance at this point in time. Whenever
respect
one
that.
of the civil rights leaders went forward and said we should do a month, yeah, they were like, all right, we'll give you a month, but we'll just give you February. It
Yeah,
was
like
fine.
any time that we were given anything, it was because it was hard
bet it
fought
was
for,
Joe
and
Biden.
there was always stop. Let that crusty, dusty, evil man die. Like he's somewhere living an average life, and he living the life he deserves. That's all I got to say.
But it's not about him, it's about us.
Exactly,
Correct.
and we're gonna reel it back to us.
Yeah, well,
Center
happy Black
focus.
History Month.
Yes,
What
yes.
matters is that we celebrate.
Correct,
Yes.
exactly, because that's what we have to do. We can't let them break our spirits. We can't let them take everything from us. So we have
Absolutely
to
not.
enjoy
Period.
everything that we can. And we are so excited to have Jesse on. So my introduction to Jesse was seeing them in a production here in Melbourne called And Juliet, which was the show that was about Romeo and Juliet. But it was like from the lens of what would have happened if our girl didn't bite the dust.
Correct.
If she loved herself a little bit
Correct.
better, yeah.
She loved herself. She was 13, I think. In fair
she
Verona,
was a baby
I
girl.
think she was like 13 and Romeo was 15. Like when you kind of look back on
Again,
it.
they were all children, but at the
They were
same
children.
time, where were the adults?
Yes.
Where are their parents?
The adults
Well,
were
they were
causing
beefing.
the adults were causing violence in the streets.
They were fighting. The girls
you
were
can't
fighting.
really give them much credit. The kids were doing the best they could. We do love y'all, but we're so glad Juliet got a second chance.
Absolutely.
And yes, I played May in that production. I originated the role of May here in Australia. I'm
yes,
so
yes.
proud. It is like the crown jewel of my career so far, even though my career has only lasted
I'm
2
saying,
seconds.
but
So
it's-
far is what we're
so
always
far.
gonna say.
First of
And-
many. First of many.
And I'm so proud to have been in that cast and to have told that story. So I'm so glad that was your introduction to me.
Yes, that
That's
was
real
so
special.
fabulous. But then the second introduction was even more important to me because when they had the Renaissance viewing at the IMAX theaters here at
Were
the
we all
Melbourne
present for
Museum,
We were all present for
we
that,
were
yes.
in the same row. And I remember looking, I was like, they played May
Oh my
in the
God,
show.
Yes.
what a
Because we were
night.
getting our life. We were getting our life
It was
during
a
that
special
movie.
night.
It was amazing. I wanted to stand up and dance so badly, but people were not. Yeah, you would have been standing up with me, I feel. But
You
yeah.
need a redo.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Drop the digital. Drop the something.
Yes.
Like where are the visuals?
We need to try and organize a screening or something. Maybe we just hassle IMAX till they just let us
God,
do it.
Let's just do it. We'll heist IMAX and be
Correct.
like,
I've
give us
only-
the film.
I've
you
only seen it
cowards."
once, so I
know,
need to see it
same.
again.
Same.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Beyonce. If
Yes.
you if you could just slide us the film, girl.
Whenever you're ready.
The earliest Beyonce shout out we've had. That's fine.
Yes, yes. In the
No
first,
surprises
with
here.
the first 5 minutes of the show. You already know. She's listening. I know you are.
Well, my first introduction to y'all was, I knew about your podcast, but I met y'all at the Gay Ballet.
Yes, at the gay
And
ballet.
that was the first time that I actually got to meet y'all, and that was a night to remember. And I'm just so proud of y'all doing what y'all doing, just representing for us, creating space, holding space.
Holding space.
Holding space
Holding.
for us, and just even seeing Vimbai perform at your live event.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
I just
Absolutely.
really felt so proud because, I took Vimbai along with me that night. And I was like, look at us networking, connecting, and just uplifting one another. It's really, really beautiful to see.
The power of Prosecco, because I had, I think, maybe like one glass at that ballet. And then once I saw you again, the third time, I was like, well, I have to go talk to them. And I just walked up
I'm so glad you did. I'm really
Nicole literally just like,
yes, I was just like, the bubbles brought me there. I was like,
because there's not many of us at these fancy white people events.
Yes.
So when we see each other, it's so lovely to connect.
Yes. And I was so grateful that you were just like a sweet and warm person and very like, you're just so kind, because sometimes people be acting stank or people are going through something and you never know what people are going through. But I was just so grateful that you were receptive. And then Vimbai as well.
Oh yes, absolutely.
It was so beautiful. And I didn't know the talent was going to jump out like that.
Oh, I knew. So when the after party, unfortunately you did have another gig.
Yes, I did.
So the after party drinks.
I did.
When we walked into the after party, which again we talked about previously, was fabulous. But there were like 6 black folks in there, so immediately we were just like, bloom. It was like us and Javon, who's going to be on the show later in the year.
Oh, fabulous.
And like we were kikiing and you were bouncing around, and Vimbai and I were just like talking shit. And like we were just here immediately. And I'm like, you know what? Tapping a girl, come over here. And it was like I just felt in my bones, I'm like, this is the lineup that we need. This perfectly curated. I knew. And
so good.
People are still singing her praises today. Like I text you every single time.
Like the highlight for me personally, like that. What a great lineup y'all had.
Oh, thank you.
But Vimbai and
listen, she tore.
Just blew my mind.
Just for our listeners at home, last week we had our Melanated in Melbourne live show in Brunswick, and it was a labor of love and planning and coordinating and everything. And then we finally got to see it all come together. It was like a live podcasting event for us, so we did a little chit chat, and then we also had some performers. We had some beautiful poetry by Louis. We had dancers. We had a few singers. Well, we had Vimbai come out and sing, and then we had a few drag queens as well. And it was just, it was a dream come true.
Really
it went better than what I had even originally thought.
Yeah. Can I just say it was a dream come true for me too.
Oh.
Like being there, that was so special. And to have been there on, like, it felt historical. It's like, this is the first one.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that you will have many to come. It's going to grow. It's going to grow.
Thank you. Because I just couldn't believe how many people showed up. Tell us why there was over 150 people there. I didn't know. I thought it was just going to be our friends.
I didn't. I knew. The way in which I told everyone I'm going to be shameless with my posting. Every third post on Instagram for the last 3 months, it'd be like, da-da-da-da. And then my show, I actually like posted a thirst trap, pretending to have an OnlyFans, and it was just linked to the ticket. But guess what?
As you do.
We got 4 tickets that day. We sold 4 tickets that day. So you know what?
It works.
It's only weird if it doesn't work. Thank you. Me and my titties are going to get work done.
Correct.
Yes. Oh, I know that's right. You know what? For titties. Shout out to titties.
Shout out to titties.
Possible.
Yes.
So go to the ball, Cinderella, go. Nobody's stopping you but you.
But fairy godmother, I don't have a dress.
Well. No, this is going to be a problem for me.
You go ahead.
Listen,
that's what I love about that.
Nicole loves the buttons. Like, I never press a button, so you can press it on my behalf for that. So.
Yes, but that pink one is especially for me.
Love
but no,
love
like,
it so
speaking
much.
of the actual show itself, because we worked so hard, we talked about this. We had been planning this for ages. Like, the first conversation about the show happened in like August, so it was like a 6-month lead up to it. And like now that we've done it before, like the times can be shorter. But it was just, we knew what we wanted it to be. We wanted to be like a live podcast. We knew that we had our listeners, but they were engaging. Like, I see them out in the streets. So I know, like, I'm always outside because that's how we got our networking done. That's how we rub elbows and do all that. But so I knew people were listening, like, oh my God, I like this. So I was like, oh, this is crazy. But for everyone to show, because a lot of them were our close friends, a lot of them are casual acquaintances. Some people I've never met before in my life, like, oh my God, I've been listening since forever. And I'm like,
that was the craziest bit. Like, I even think I said this during the show. It was like shout out to the complete strangers. There was someone there who was so lovely. Their name was John. They were so cute, and their little like taupe distressed sweater, and they were so lovely. And they said that they just happened to be on like the Midsummer website and just happened to scroll through and then like saw the picture and saw the description and just went purely off of vibes.
Wow.
And then just ended up coming through. And
because they were right next to me at the front. We were living our best lives at the front.
It was so funny. But I knew that it was going to be a good night when Ri'chard told all the white people, get to the back.
The audacity. To the back. It's better already.
Because the setup was like, do we have any white people in here? And the white people were like, yeah.
And then people started
to the back.
People started. First of all, people started booing.
Why we like this?
And that's how I knew. That's how I knew it was gonna be okay for me to do it because because Joanne the Scammer for life. Like that. That's my girl. Amen. I pray to her on the daily. But because as things were like life things, I'm like, I'm really tired of white people. Like, not all white people, but enough that it were frustrating me.
No.
Correct.
Yeah. I love y'all too, white people.
Yeah.
It can be tiring out here. You know what? It's not white people. It's whiteness.
Whiteness, white supremacy. Yeah, the mindset.
And I think at your event, it's like, this is a night to celebrate us,
Yes.
And I think they were there to celebrate us, which was really special. But it's like, just take a step back.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah. And
we
that's
love you,
okay.
and we're so glad you're here. But like, let us be at the front.
1000%.
Because we don't always get that opportunity to have those spaces for us. And so I kind of respected it. It's said with love.
Yeah, it genuinely was said with love. And we've said on the podcast before, because there are people like our white allies who are listening. If they're listening this far and like they know they're like off-white. They're not like white, they're like off-white. I say this to my white friends all the time. The white friends that I fuck with, I'm like, you're off-white. You're not even white. You're off-white. So you're fine. You understand. Like you are still Caucasian, but you know to get out of the way. So I knew for a fact they wouldn't be like, oh, I can't believe Ri'chard, my oldest friend, told me to move. I was like, if they felt that way, they would not have been there in the first place. So I knew it would have been fine. Nicole was like, no, don't do that. I'm like, no, I'm going to do it because the audacity is going to be kicking all the way through from here on out, like through the roof.
No, they were on their best behavior, and so were we.
Yeah. I think it was just like, it ended up being so much more than a party, because I feel like people kept saying, they were like, man, you guys need to throw parties more often, which it was a vibe. We were shaking our ass. Shout out to my girl, DJ Fresh Princess.
Yes.
Killing it on the ones and twos, jams on jams. And it was cathartic how much fun we had. And you even look through the photos and everybody's literally so happy. But it wasn't just about the party. There was connection there that night. That community. Like people really came out to connect with each other. I think that's what made all the difference, because you can go to a party, you probably just won't talk to anybody other than the friends that you know.
You go through and then stay in that circle.
You stay within your circle. But I felt like that night people were like mixing and mingling, and almost everyone was on the dance floor, which was really, really pleasing to me, because I always come for the Australians for wanting to just sit there and talk about their day at work or what their dog ate or something like that while at an event. And I'm like, don't you want to be,
get your back up off the wall.
Oh my God, dance. Come on.
Like literally just call them. Go home, sit, get a coffee.
Right?
Like, there's no need to spend all this money.
Get the cocktails, get the drinks pouring, and let's shake ass.
Yes, seriously, because people will just... Yeah, because I'll never forget that jazz club that we went to. I'm like, how y'all gonna be talking through the jazz?
In front of the musicians as well.
In front of the band.
That was so disrespectful.
It's hot out here.
It is hard out here, but I'm really grateful that we had that moment.
I'm so proud of you. Well, congratulations. Can't wait for the next one.
Thank you. I mean, you say, wait, you're going to be helping us. What do you mean? I told everyone who says, I can't wait for the next one, I'm like, that's you volunteering your services. Because the way in which this was a lot of work, and I know everyone's really excited for it, I'm like, well, it'll be bigger with more help. I said it on the stage. I'll say it in front of the camera. If you want to help, you got our email. You know where to find us.
You know what I would love to offer my services in doing? Ooh. Let's put out a red carpet and give me a mic, and I will host the red carpet.
Oh, my God. I love this idea.
Done.
That's so great.
It's in my goal for the year. Like this year, I would really love to host a red carpet, if not more. And I think I'm gonna offer my services to y'all.
I love that.
It'll be a kiki.
Love that.
It'll be a kiki.
Yes, because also what I want next time, I want to challenge people to outdress each other. That is the vibe that I really want for the next time. I wanted to make a video for this past one, but I just didn't have a chance to because the schedule was scheduling.
Yeah.
But yeah, we shouldn't wait for special occasions to do things, to wear the things, to have the fun, to drink the champagne. It's like, no, this is a special occasion. We need to do it now.
I love that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Dress to the nines now.
Why not? You get hit by a bus tomorrow. I'm like, damn, that outfit you were saving.
It's only collecting dust.
Right. And I'm gonna take it. You better put in your will because I'm gonna take it. But like, I hope you got some wears in. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, I stopped saving outfits. Like, I'm gonna dress cute for whatever. But also, speaking of outfits, this is telepathy. This blue,
Right?
Nobody talked about it. We just showed up in blue.
I love that. I'm in my FUBU, period.
Period.
We do look good together today.
Look at that.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
But I think we can actually go into Jesse's origin story, no?
Oh my God.
That's right.
Like
Yes.
a comic book.
Like
Exactly.
the comic book.
Let us know how you got here.
Page
Oh my God. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure. Well, I'm in my late 20s now. I'm about to turn 29.
Woo,
but
little baby.
and I am a performer, as you already know.
Yes.
Period.
And so growing up, we were the stars being born. Like Gaz and myself, if you don't know my sibling Gaz.
Oh, shout out to Gaz.
They are such a star in their own right.
lovely.
They are coming up and they're coming heavy this year. Like you will see them on stage this year. It's going to be such a great year for them.
Oh.
And as kids, we were putting on our own shows.
Oh.
We were our own costume designers. We were our own, music directors, film directors, the archive footage that we could get into.
Oh, I love this.
And so growing up so blatantly queer, it was such a treat for those around us to have young people come into a room with such confidence.
Oh, I know that's right.
And
Yes.
I think no one had to teach us that confidence. We walked in knowing who we were, and where things kind of took a left turn is now we're in a context of religion and Christianity. My mom is a teacher at a Christian school, the same school that I went to. We went to church every Sunday. We were heavily involved in our Christian community. And that was the most important thing to us. But before we were South African even, we were Christian. So we didn't go to church with our family. We went to our own separate church. Like that was the most important thing for us. Yeah. So, growing up in primary school, my gender was constantly questioned. I always got, are you a boy or a girl? And I always got, you're gay, as an exclusionary term to push me away. So I was never in the boys' club because of that. And of course, I wasn't allowed to be in the girls' club because that means girls' changing rooms and girls' sleepovers, and quote unquote boys are not allowed to be at those kinds of things. Yeah. So I kind of always found myself in the middle. At lunch and recess, I was with the girls, but I was always stuck with the boys when it came to the things that were, I suppose, important, like school camps, sports and stuff like that. So that was really tricky for me growing up. And look, back then there was no dictionary for non-binary or trans.
Or
that
gender
language
expression.
That language simply was not available to us. I went through high school. I went through Bible college. I went through, honestly, my first couple of years of uni in my 20s, not really fully understanding who I was, just because that language wasn't available to me. And when I came out for the first time, I came out as bisexual when I was 25, actually on my birthday. And
happy birthday.
Thank you. Honestly, it's coming up.
Oh, when is your birthday? Sorry, not
on the 1st of March.
Oh,
so that's coming up.
Pisces? Oh
Correct.
my gosh, so many Pisces.
Correct.
Sorry, baby.
So I came out on my birthday, and it kind of started the breakdown of my church community's connection to me. Instantly, there were emails getting sent behind my back to pastors, people in leadership at my church, where I led worship, I led youth group. I was a passionate volunteer at my church. All of a sudden, there's all of these emails getting sent in about me. On my post, which I posted on Instagram and Facebook, it was like, happy birthday, Jesse. We're so happy for you. We love you. But behind all of that was a whole bunch of bigotry, a whole bunch of hatred, which then led to the church standing me down from all of those volunteer positions that I held. So I was no longer permitted to lead worship, and I was no longer permitted to lead my youth group of, I shouldn't say boys, because in that group, I mean, at the time that's what it was called, but it's actually quite a gender diverse group of people now. I wasn't able to see them through to the final year of high school. They were just starting year 12 and I got booted. And so what that really left me with was like such a sense of like betrayal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Knowing that honestly, finishing high school, what I really should have been doing in my mind was going to musical theater school, going to pursue music. And I always did that. I went on The Voice when I was 20. I released music, but it was always to serve God. It was always to push the gospel. So I felt like, hey, after all of this sacrifice, now I'm left with nothing. I can't sing gospel music now because no one will listen. I can't sing in church because no one will let me. So I was left with this betrayal, and I sat with that hurt for quite a few months. And the following year, I kind of turned a new chapter and decided, well, the world is still out here. I still have this gift. Let me go and share it. And so the first musical that I ever did was outside of high school, was Once on This Island by Ngovu Moja. Now that's quite a new theatre company here in Melbourne that really championed young African diaspora here in Australia.
Was it out in the West?
Yes.
That was
we
the
were
one
gonna
we were supposed
go.
to see.
Okay, so
That was what I was going to say. Like, we were supposed to go see it.
yeah, we were supposed to
but
go
then
see it, but like
something
the
happened.
preview got canceled for COVID, and then like they didn't.
Yes.
So we had a bunch of Black Americans who bought tickets to
We
the
were gonna
preview of
go.
that show,
That would've been
and
our
we
first
were
time
about
seeing
to we were about to carpool out to that
Wow.
exact show because it was out in the West, like St. Albans around there, right?
That's correct.
And like that, we had no one scheduled. Like it kind of fell apart after that first day.
Oh,
fell
what a
through.
shame.
Oh,
Well,
that's-
it was such a special room.
Oh.
Vimbai, who you had perform at your event,
Yes.
that's how I met her and her sister Shama. I found community through theatre. And
Yes.
I remember having a chat with Vimbai and Shama while we were on our ways to rehearsal, because I'm on the east side, like southeast side. So we would travel across the city to go and rehearse 3 times a week for that show. And that just meant time to kiki in the car.
Yes.
Time to share, time to get to know
Yes.
each other. And we really did. We became like family in that car. And I remember telling them, I think that something's going on with my gender. I feel like I'm on the verge. Like, obviously I'm out as queer. I'm out as bisexual. I'm really proud of that. And I just feel like there's something untapped, something that I don't quite understand yet, but I was just having those like foundational conversations with them and with other people. And after Once on This Island, I started getting emails from this amazing casting director. So basically, our directors from that show had passed on my contact details.
I know that's
to
right.
Reese Vasquez. Shout out to you, girl.
I was gonna say, shout out to Risa Vasquez. I don't know you, but we shouting you out.
They are just such a fabulous, passionate casting director that's really reaching out to community to get us through the door. And all of a sudden, I was getting these emails from them, and this one called Fangirls came to my desk, and I said, Fangirls a musical at the Sydney Opera House.
Oh,
Let me just apply.
Yes.
Let me just apply.
Yes.
I knew of the show. I'd never seen it, but I had a few friends involved in the original cast. This was like the 3rd time that it had been put on in Australia. And I said, I know that I can do this. Let me put in a tape. And it was the first professional musical that I ever applied for. And I was like, I don't know if I'm really ready, but like, let me just do it.
Yes.
And 4 days later, I got an email back saying, congratulations, you have booked the role of Salty Pringle in the musical Fangirls for the Sydney Opera House run. And I said, no callback? No, like
callback.
you don't want
Booked
to
off a
like
tape.
you don't want to like meet me first.
like it's yours. It was always
Booked off
yours.
the tape.
But
I
also, I
booked
don't know
it.
what show this is. What is Fangirls?
Fangirls the musical. It's an Australian musical. It's honestly, I'm so proud that was my first professional show. It's a show that is based around the One Direction fandom, specifically the Harry Styles fandom, and just follows a teenage girl named Edna who is absolutely in love with Harry. And it's not like her love for Harry is not like the other fans. She really gets him. She really knows that he doesn't want to be in this band. And so she hatches a plan with the help of her fanfic writing friend Salty Pringle to set him free.
Wow.
And it is such a fantastic show. Eve Blake was the writer. Paige Rattray directed. It's since gone on to have a West End run last year, which I missed sadly. I so wish I could have gone to support them, but it's doing really well overseas. I think probably next is Broadway.
Oh
It's
my
such
gosh,
a great
that's
show.
so cool.
And so I had my professional debut at the Sydney Opera House, which was just completely to have come from just, a year or two before that betrayal from my church community to now find myself on this stage at the Sydney Opera House. It felt like God was smiling on me.
Yes.
Yes.
It really did feel like God said, I've had your back the whole time. For me personally, I've maintained my faith, my connection to God, because it cannot be sanctioned. Like, you know what I mean? Like, organized religion has this way of saying, fit in the box and you can come to God.
Yes.
But God is so much bigger than that. And I really
100%.
love that I've been able to stay connected and stay faithful. And so, after that, the rest is kind of history. The casting team for And Juliet came to see the show at the Sydney Opera House.
Yes.
And I booked the role of May in Juliet. And so that kind of took me on a crazy journey. It was my first touring show. Here in Australia, I don't know if you have listeners overseas, but I'm sure you do.
I think so.
Yes, we do.
So in Australia, our musical theatre scene works a little bit differently from the West End or Broadway. Our big shows are touring shows. They're the ones that get the most funding, the most budget, and they actually, you know, we don't have a theatre capital. Melbourne likes to say that we are, but it actually is a national kind of experience that kind of, if you are in a show that's going to do, you know, well financially, it's going to be because you tour.
Yeah, it's gonna go around to all the other cities and stuff. Because I remember Tina starting off in Sydney, and then it went around before getting to Melbourne.
Yeah, so all of our big shows do that here, and we started and Juliet here in Melbourne. We toured internationally to Singapore. Back to Perth and finished last year in Sydney, and it was such a great journey to have started out this professional journey of mine as someone who was really sure of themselves but also questioning, to then get booked professionally and then to be able to play a role like May, which is just so beautifully queer, so understated, but also stepping into that role felt like I was born for that role.
Yes.
And as a non-binary person now, to be able to bring that to that role is just so special. And I love and Juliet. I continue to stan the show. Yes. I'm like actually such a massive fan of it because, you know, at Bible college, I was studying songwriting, which meant, you know, our teachers were actually teaching us pop music because that's kind of like, I don't know if y'all know Hillsong Church, if you've heard of that. Hillsong. But that is all very much like a pop expression of worship. Yes. So that's what we were learning. We were learning Max Martin. Yes. And so to be booked in his musical and to be able to sing his songs, like I'm singing Britney Spears, I'm singing Domino by Jessie J.
Jesus, how was I supposed to know that you died for my sin? And
dun, dun, dun.
Yes.
That's going to be a clip
and
for sure.
Jesus the musical coming soon.
I must confess. Okay, no.
Come on, your Britney voice is so good. Period.
Oh my
Come
God.
on, that vocal fry. So yeah, that was such a brilliant privilege to be able to exist in that space, to reach young queer people who had never seen themselves before. And also, as you know, in our main cast, the only person of African descent to kind of represent for us, I felt very proud to have been a part of that show.
Oh, I know that's right.
So that kind of brings us to the present. You know, what's next for me, I suppose I'm just getting ready to get back into audition rooms. Yes. I'm also back at uni this year to finish my master's.
Oh my God.
So I'm really excited for the year ahead.
Oh, that's so fabulous.
Thank you.
And then like seeing you in that show, you were such a force. You saying that you were born to play that role, it definitely translated that way from the audience.
1000%.
That's so kind.
And seeing you on stage. Oh, it's just the truth.
Thank you.
Genuine. Like Nicole and I saw it separately. Like when we saw that show, and I was just like, savage.
Yes.
Savage.
Yes.
So it's just been fantastic watching you, like just in passing, just like watching you grow and just seeing. I'm always excited. Anytime I see somebody doing stuff, I'm like,
that's really beautiful.
Come on, bitch. Just sitting there eating popcorn. I'm like, I love this show. This is my favorite.
Yes.
All of my friends are superstars. Doesn't matter. All of my friends are just so fabulous and incredible. And the way that I see them, I'm just like, wow, I love this show. This is such a great show.
Yeah.
So good. Well, yeah, I love theater. I invited you this week to come see Tina with us. Yeah. Because Ngovu Moja, the production company that kind of did Once on This Island, which you missed. I cannot believe that.
Oh
that's such a
God,
mind-blowing
that's
moment.
so crazy.
They partnered with Safe Space Media to do a blackout night at Tina the Musical here in Melbourne. And it was just such a fantastic night. And it just really felt like, it feels so vindicating to see black people on stage absolutely killing it.
Yes.
Ruva, who plays Tina,
wow.
She won an award last year, Best Performance in a Musical. And I just think, just makes me so proud to see that space being held by a black woman. Yeah. When we are constantly in this industry in Australia, just like pushed to the side, we are constantly erased, we are constantly spoken down to, like we don't have the skills, and yet we shine.
Correct.
Nothing can stop that.
We're resilient.
And so, whether that's in And Juliet, whether that's in Fangirls, or literally at the smallest kind of theater you can think of doing amateur theater, black people out here doing it.
We are out
and it makes me so proud. And the only way is up. Come on, children, we gotta go.
We gotta go.
To freedom! Yep. Like, we must keep going. We need to keep showing up in these audition rooms. We need to keep hassling casting directors. We need to keep pushing. Because the next debut is going to be life-changing, and I cannot wait to see it.
Yes.
Whoever that might be, we need to keep...
We have to. We have to. And then even if you're not necessarily in the arts yourself, go support the arts.
Thank you for saying that.
Go see the shows, because it's like what we do as performers. It's just like, it's a very vulnerable thing. You're just out there like with your full heart on display. Even like in just the audition, you're just like, oh my God, I hope they like it. It's a very vulnerable experience. Absolutely. And then it takes all this work and time and investment to put together something. And then all you can do is hope that people see it. Yeah. And then you hope people receive it the way that you
intended,
intended to. Absolutely. And for me, Tina, as y'all know, I'm a huge Tina Turner fan.
Oh, I didn't know.
Oh, when she passed, I needed a full day of mourning. I'm like, please don't talk to me. Talk about a story of resilience and beating the odds, and just her fight to keep going despite at every single turn. Her relationship with her mother was terrible. Her relationship with her father, they ran out on her. And then she essentially ended up meeting this man who ultimately changed her life, but then put her through some of the most treacherous, awful things. And so I was so grateful for Tina coming to Australia, you know what I mean? Like just to share her story about her strength and her courage to keep going. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, it's so important to hear those kind of stories. And I love that they use her music for it, because sometimes I get conflicted about jukebox musicals.
Oh, yeah, we can get into that.
Yeah. Sometimes I get a little bit conflicted about it. Not saying that they shouldn't exist or anything like that, especially with the way that Juliet did it, like through the storytelling, and then with Tina as well, using her own music to like illustrate her own story, which I was like, this is so creative. I was eating it up.
Absolutely.
But sometimes I feel like I'm like, y'all just put this music together for like a millennial cash grab. And I am a millennial, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, was this really thought out?
Yeah. Now, that's how I felt about jukebox musicals. I remember in uni, it was like 2019, 2020. My friend Amelia at uni, she was like, now, Jesse, there's this new musical on the West End called And Juliet. You need to look into it. Yeah. There's this character that reminds me of you. And I was like, oh my God, period. I was like, what's it called? And she's like, And Juliet. It's a jukebox musical. And I said, oh, I'll stop you there. I'll stop you there. I don't like those. Like, I never liked Mamma Mia. Yeah. I'd never seen Moulin Rouge, but I have seen it now, and I don't really like it. It's just a very specific experience that I'm like, I could hit shuffle on a Spotify playlist at home. Yes. Like, what I'm passionate about, and the reason I even pursued acting is because I love stories.
Yeah. Yes, because we are storytellers.
If the music can serve the story, then great.
100%.
But that takes effort. That takes expertise. Yeah. And so a lot of these new musicals that we're seeing, like Tina is one of them, and Juliet absolutely is one of them. Hell's Kitchen on Broadway at the moment, Alicia Keys. Yeah. What they have done with that is so brilliant. And there are more coming. And I think that it's something that I think the musical theater community looks down on. But I think there's actually, who better to tell Tina Turner's story than her own voice?
Yes. Correct.
Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you just hit a sweet spot and you're like, that makes sense.
Yeah, and she passed in 2023, I believe.
I think that's right.
And then, so many of us, like, would not have been able to like experience her power in concert, because that's the whole thing. I'm even getting chills about it now. Yeah. And I feel like that show really encapsulates that, especially at the ending. Because Ri'chard brought me for my birthday. Yeah. But mind you, I was a mess like 2 minutes into the show when the little girl sang the ballad of Nutbush. I was like,
no, literally immediately. Like, the way in which we had the Beyonce reference, Nicole was crying that quickly in the show. We sat down, we got our popcorn, we were sipping, the curtains rose, she started singing. It was like,
yes, exactly. She's like, Nutbush. I was like, oh my God, this is so. But it was amazing. And then at the end, when they were singing Simply the Best, and they're like, everybody on your feet. Oh, what the tears are just flowing. I could almost feel like I could cry about it now, just because I'm just so connected to her. And then like, without Tina, there would be no Beyonce. Correct. So it's just like, I'm just so thankful for the
doors that she opened.
Man, the doors, the ceilings that she shattered, and like, no matter what, she just didn't stop. She kept pushing forward, and then she ended up ultimately having to go overseas to find appreciation for what it is that she's done. And then, I'm grateful that they got to use her music. But what other musicals do you like in your own personal preference?
Ooh, my favorites, I mean, hello.
Oh.
I don't know if y'all can see this.
Can we be sued for this?
Unlimited, don't sue us, Cynthia.
I don't think that's how that works. I saw Wicked when I was 12 or 13 for the first time, and I grew up loving The Wizard of Oz. I grew up loving that book as well.
Yeah.
So I thought Wicked was a real formative experience for me in the theater. I'm grateful to my parents who took us to the theater.
Yeah.
The first musical I ever saw was The Wizard of Oz at the Regent Theater.
Wow.
Which is, where I had my Melbourne performing debut here.
Oh
so
my God,
it was a full circle. I was like, so this is what it looks like behind the scenes. Like it was really, really cool. So yeah, love Wicked. I've seen it 4 times in my life. It's the musical I've seen the most times. My favorite at the moment, since I went to New York a couple years ago, was Hell's Kitchen, which is Alicia Keys' musical.
Yeah.
Alicia is she's in my top 3.
I think,
like we all know Beyonce is up there.
of course.
And she is joined by, and in no particular order because they all have such a special meaning for me, Beyonce, Alicia Keys, and Brandy Norwood.
Yes.
Those 3 women, they're not only artists that I love, they're artists that have shaped me.
Yes.
And I went to see Hell's Kitchen in its preview season. It was pre-Broadway.
Oh, wow.
My friend Nico, shout out to you, Nico, he was in the ensemble of And Juliet on Broadway.
Oh
and
my
that's how we
gosh.
connected.
That's so
And
cool.
when I was going to New York on a holiday, I had messaged him and I just said, look, the show was sold out at the public,
Yes.
but if you have any waiting lists or anything, please let me know. And he was like, not only is there a waiting list, but there are some tickets waiting for you. When you
Oh
get
my
here.
God. I know that's
I
right.
was like, oh my God.
At
So
the box
community,
office.
community.
right? So I went to see the show with Gaz, and at the end, this beautiful lady, she was in the row in front of us standing up, and I was like, and how is this white woman standing up?
Yes.
It was Alicia's mom.
No! Oh my goodness.
So I was like,
Mama Keys. It was Mama Keys.
So that show, and have y'all listened to the soundtrack?
No, I haven't listened
No.
to it yet.
Okay.
But when Alicia was going through her meteoric rise, I was there. I had the Fulani braids.
Come
I had
on.
the cornrows going to the front. I was there. I had the newspaper boy hat. I had the leather jacket. You couldn't tell
Wow.
me anything after
Yeah.
she was on Oprah. I was just like, yes.
Now that is a special soul.
Yes.
And her gift is so unmatched. So
I feel like it's played with. I feel like people play.
I think
feel
you're
like-
right.
I feel like people play her. It's just sometimes we do this, and especially in the age of the internet. Like everybody will be on your side, and not saying that people don't deserve to be flipped on, but I don't think it's right in this case. I don't know why. We just play with Alicia's talent. She was playing the piano and singing. She sang that song "Fallen." I was singing that song at 13 years old, like I had experienced that kind of heartbreak. I keep on falling, like as if I knew, because that's how deep
yeah.
R&B.
No,
pumping
women
my
in music,
veins.
especially black women, are treated so differently.
Yes.
Like what's the reason? I think a lot of the criticism for Alicia is that she's with Swizz Beatz now, and he was married, and it's like, well, we don't know the timeline.
Yeah, we don't know their.
We don't know the
We
timeline.
don't know their
But
business.
do you know how many men we do know the
Hello.
timeline?
Yeah.
And you're like, hello.
Nobody talks about Swiss at all. Like we know it happened, but
Hello.
everyone's always looking at her like she did something.
Right.
I'm
But you know
like,
what? The fact that the ex-wife and them are just like so close, and then they even came out with the book and blended, and it feels like they've
my God,
tried,
blended.
right? But
Yeah.
they've tried so hard to.
Well, they've had to.
Yeah, they've
To try
had
and
to
clean up the image, to try and fix that up. I mean, Ariana's not black, but she's facing the same kind of criticism at the moment.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, okay, cool, but like, can we just watch Wicked in peace?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Why
right.
does-
She is with that piece
why-
of cheese. I forgot about him.
Yes, we love our
Yeah.
sponge. But like, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like, but again, it's the women who face the criticism.
Absolutely.
The men just kind of get to like
Yeah.
take
yeah, it's
the
like, oh yeah, boys club, good job, bro. You're like, ew.
Yeah, it's just so, it's like, yeah, the sins are worn by the women, and it's just like, enough of that. Quit playing with Alicia Keys. Do your homework, especially if you are like an R&B. Like for me,
pay some respect.
oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
well, her musical is fantastic.
That's so
It's
cool.
not one of those musicals that tries to tell her whole life story. Tina is one of those musicals that's like,
Yeah, from
she's
the
a baby
beginning.
girl.
Yes.
Almost right to the end, to
Yep.
her big moment on
Yes,
stage.
yes.
Hell's Kitchen is not like that. It's about Alicia in her late teens, growing up.
Woo,
And I
yes.
was like, I didn't know what to expect, but I was like, this is so brilliant. It's like just one summer in her life when she just, first encounters the piano and starts to learn.
Oh, it's beautiful.
the songs don't become then like milestones. You know, like for Tina, I felt like a lot of the songs are like, this song came out at this time in my life, so I'm going to sing it now.
Yeah.
Which like has its place, and it works actually really well for Tina. But in Hell's Kitchen, she's singing, you know, you give me the feeling that I never, what's on? Unthinkable.
Maybe could you make
Come on,
my baby? Can we do the unthinkable? Because they make it so crazy.
These songs are kind of spliced throughout her teen years, like this experience of falling in love and her challenges with her parents. It's honest. It changed my life. I literally dress like this now.
Yes. Yes.
I didn't dress like this before.
I saw a new show and it made it my whole personality.
That has truly become that for me.
The power of art.
Yeah. And when you get to see it for free as well, you're like, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I got the connection.
Yes.
So when that show comes to Australia, and I really hope it does, I'll be first in line to audition. I don't even know who I would love to play, but just put me in the room.
Just get on there.
I love that show so much. Let me think some other musicals that I really love. Hadestown is just opened in Australia. I had a chance to see it in London last year. That is such a beautiful show. The Wiz hasn't come here yet.
Yes. Special place in my heart for The Wiz.
I saw that on Broadway and I just was ruined.
Cool.
Did you see that new version that they did? Or like the old school version?
It was this last, I saw it in June.
Oh my God, you saw the new version.
I saw the new
friend
version.
Colby,
Our
friend of the show, our friend Colby was in it. So
I've only heard it, but I haven't had a chance to see it, obviously. Because when I went to New York, it had just left on tour, and then we were in LA, but it wasn't there at the same time. I was like, oh my God. So yeah, I do love me some fantasy.
Yes.
As long as the eye of that creator can see us included in that world.
Yeah.
And I think overseas is doing that really fantastically. I just think, you know, when it comes to Australian casts, we unfortunately lack the inclusion that, and honestly, the safety.
I'm looking at the camera because I'm looking at y'all. Y'all need to be hearing this.
We lack the safety to see those worlds recognized to their full potential. I love Wicked Down, but the Australian runs of that show have been so exclusionary to people of color and to black people that it's like really hard. The last time I went to see it, my first time as an adult, I'm like, this story doesn't make sense without us.
Yes.
The story actually doesn't make sense without people of color.
You have a whole thing about oppression and you're not even going to include people from like different ethnic backgrounds. It's
really such a shame.
It's bizarre.
It's really such a shame. And so the film has really been my first time experiencing that, where I actually watched it and I was like, okay, John Chu, you did your thing with this because this is the first time it's actually made sense.
Did it?
It's a world where people of color exist and can turn on each other. And there's layers to that. And I think as a director, he did such a fantastic job. He got a lot of criticism for that film. I don't know if you've been on Twitter. Or, you know, I need to get off that app.
I never was really on it because like I couldn't keep up. I was like, so what's a hashtag? Like that was my boomer moment. Being on Twitter was like, no, how do people find this?
No, I was in the thick of Twitter and in it for like a very good amount of time. And then like recently been like, I just can't because it just drags you down sometimes because it's just like I like discourse when there's people who are willing to share the thoughts, like you know what I mean, like in a shared kind of mindset and being like, well, this is how I thought and this is what I thought. But in Twitter, things operate in the extreme. Where people are just like, this was terrible, this was awful because this, and this. And then they changed the line from the wizard will see you. I don't know. They would just do all this stuff. And I'm like,
we can get a bit nitpicky. And
very
I also think
nitpicky.
that discourse and criticism go hand in hand with media literacy. So like that is the issue for Twitter and a lot of social media discourse is like, you actually aren't media literate. A lot of these people that I see commenting, and they are loud and wrong. And it's like, you actually haven't had a chance to analyze and understand this text. Why are you running your mouth on it?
Why? Loud and
so
wrong.
It's just like really interesting to me to have that. But yeah, the film was the first time I actually had a chance to understand it. And I actually read the book before I went to see the film.
Wow. I heard the book is wild.
It actually is terrible. Like it is like it's such a mess. No. I don't know what was going on. It's actually quite a racist, homophobic, transphobic text. It's actually has quite a lot of issues with it. And I think the musical has done such a fantastic job of really like just taking taking the elements from the story and then just like completely writing a new story with it, which is like actually fantastic because it's like you still get the elements of Alphaba. Yeah. You still get that story, but it's actually through a completely different lens. There's a love story now. We get to like, Glinda's actually in it. Glinda's really not in the book that much. Really? Which is so weird because, you know, she's one of the main characters in the show and in the movies. And to me, that's my background as well. Like I've studied literature. I've studied drama. It's something that I really love to sink my teeth into. I love to analyze. I love to have that discourse. But again, you can't have meaningful discourse without media literacy. And so 100%. That's why I was like, open the schools.
Open the schools.
Open these damn schools.
School barbs. Ri'chard, what's your favorite musical?
Ooh, actually, it's going to be biased only because I've seen it so many times. Come From Away was my favorite musical.
Oh, to Colby again.
Shout out to Colby again. We love you, Colby.
I want to meet this Colby.
Yes.
And so Colby was one of our friends who did Come From Away. Are they from Chicago? No, they're from New York. No, Oklahoma. That's right.
I'm not going to pretend to remember. But I do remember my friend, Colby.
Yeah. So Colby's from Oklahoma originally, but they were in New York. They auditioned from the home and they got Come From Away. So it was like they were in and out of lockdowns. We met them during the show running, and because we came such good friends here in Melbourne.
So fantastic.
Met them during show running. It's actually when Colby first got off the plane, he was doing like previews and runs, and he came to the bar I was working at. And again, because Melbourne is what it is, when you see a black person in the street, I'm like,
absolutely.
I see you.
100%.
Came through, we were talking to the bar, I'm like, oh shit, and you're American, so we were kikiing, haha, whatever. Because I was working, we didn't exchange any socials or anything, but I saw the preview for Come From Away, and the whole time I was like, I know him.
Wow.
And because I was with my ex at the time, and it was like, I'm never one to say all black people look alike, but like, I know that man for a fact. I could not for life of me remember where it was from. I'm like, I know him.
Yeah.
We went to the same bar I used to work at. He shows up with the crew. He's like, oh, hey, look at us here again. I'm like, that's where it was.
Yes.
So from that point, we was like, Colby was in the OG Melanated Melbourne group.
Yes.
So when we got together for Black History Month, we were like, hey,
there's a
everybody.
group chat.
There was this all started.
It was RIP the group chat.
Oh, rest in peace.
The group chat did
something
die.
went down.
Yeah, we have an episode in that. We'll loop back. There you go. I saw you being like, it's like a bomb. It's like cutting wire. This is the red wire, the green wire.
Yeah.
It's the green
well,
wire.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Well, I need to send me that link to that episode. I haven't listened to that one.
Oh, absolutely. We'll send it to you. But like because of that, because of such good friends, like they always had like, here's some tickets. I'm like, I will go. I saw that 4 or 5 times. But the message itself is just so gorgeous, and the songs, and it was just like, it just feels like a warm hug.
I need to watch that.
Yeah.
It's on streaming. I need to check it
Is
out.
it?
Yeah.
Oh yes, of course, because they did that. They did the recording.
I
think they filmed their very first performance opening after the lockdowns in New York.
Yeah.
So it's like everyone's wearing masks and well, not on stage obviously, but yeah, that's so cool.
No, so like that's my.
How many times did you see the show?
I think I saw that about 5 times. Wow. Like I saw the preview, had a free few tickets, and there was like a lottery of cheap tickets. I'm very good at winning lotteries. Like I've seen a bunch of stage shows. It is
literally
like,
every single sweepstakes.
I can't win financial prizes, but I can win things that have financial value, just not cash. Yes. Like I won Harry Potter tickets like 6 times.
Yes,
I got
so many times.
At one point, literally, I was like, I don't want to go again, Nicole. You. Yes. I was like, Nicole, you want to go?
I don't want to waste this cheap ticket.
Yeah.
Like a lottery. Yeah, you don't want to waste it. It's like what, $50 or like
my close.
$80?
I got third row one of the time, so it's just like they randomly give you things. But like that's one of my favorite musicals for sure. I was a bit later to the musical scene because we grew up poor. Like it was not a thing that
it's not something that's accessible for.
It's not accessible
all of the time.
And when I got here, my ex was like huge on musical theater, so I was like there by proxy, and he's like, let's go to this. I'm like, yeah okay. And my love for musical theater started. Yeah, like 2019, 2020. So got to see a few shows before COVID happened, and then I was like, now we're inside. But when we get outside again, I'm a beast at. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good. What about you, Nicole?
Yeah.
Is Tina your favorite?
I mean, okay, I love Tina Down, but I went to a performing arts high school. So I do have a bit of a musical theater background, but I was there for like dance.
Okay.
And then, I did like 42nd Street, did Chicago, did Crazy for You, so like some like the old Sondheim kind of ones, and then did Hair in college, which I really loved. But my favorite musical is one that I literally haven't seen in theater. It's Rent. For me, the soundtrack, what it encapsulates of New York in the early 90s and how artists used to move to New York. It was like a pilgrimage. They were pulled there. The city called to them. They're just like, I need to come here and I just need to live here and I just need to make art. And they all live in this like section of Alphabet City. And they just, they all create their art together. And it's essentially like a parallel to La Vie Boheme. And the creator of the musical, Jonathan Larson. Like, have you ever seen Tick, Tick, Boom? Yeah. So Jonathan Larson wrote
Brilliant writer.
Yes, so brilliant. And he was like writing this musical on like, you know, something in the future. And he was putting his heart and soul into it, but it was just too expensive to produce. And they essentially said, like, that Jonathan Larson, we can't wait to see what he does next. And he was so defeated and so sad. And so he ended up writing Rent, which to me it's just so beautiful. I go through like portions of the year where I just have to listen to the soundtrack from top to bottom. Like, it just speaks to me. And it was like probably one of the most inclusive shows I had seen. Like, there was Angel, who is gender fluid. Like probably one of the first trans characters that I had ever seen. Probably in a production.
Wow, yeah.
It talks about like the HIV and AIDS crisis as well, and just the sense of community that they had together. And it was like the only thing that they could use to get through the tough times. But the music itself, it eats. It eats. And we did it for, shout out to Howell High School, I suppose.
So you've performed in it?
No, but we did songs from shows you can't do in high school, which was like a musical review show. Okay. I wanted to do Let's Go Out Tonight. I wanted to do Mimi so bad. I wanted to be that part so bad, but just never got the chance to, but I still love it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
What I love about musical theater is that there are no limits to the stories that you can tell.
Totally.
And the music element of that just takes it to such another level. Like music being the universal language, it really doesn't matter what language it's spoken in. Like for me traveling last year, I went to Hamburg in Germany, and musicals are typically translated into German for those productions. And so I went to see Hercules.
Oh, snap!
Which
that's
is like
right.
the world premiere of that musical. It's now going to London. And I went and sat there, and all the songs were translated, and all of the dialogue. And I had the most fantastic time.
Really?
Because
who put the glad and gladiators und Hercules? It's very nice. I don't know.
That's not even German, babe. Like, you just put on the accent.
Down.
I'm trying to put myself there.
Das Musical.
Das Musical. Yes. He goes to the Mount Olympus. It's very high up.
It was such a fantastic show. And I also went to see Und Julia, Das Musical.
Yes.
Which is And Juliet in Germany. And I was like, obviously I know the show so well, but I was just like so absolutely blown away because some of the songs as well are being translated into German so beautifully. The script writer for the German production just did such a fantastic job. But what I love about musicals is that, and I don't think I'll ever get tired of them or doing them, even though the 8-show week, we can get into that another time. Abolish the 8-show week. Like, truly just such a cruel way to have performers just perform at such a high level. 8 times a week is just so cruel.
8 times a week, that is a lot.
I mean,
you need the recovery time.
The sacrifices we make to put on theater is absolutely...
We put it all on the
support artists, especially local artists.
Yes.
Doing the Lord's work.
But yeah, I'll never get sick of it because music was always my first love. So I think that's what it always come back down to. I could be a film actor, I could go and be a straight theater actor, but music was always my first love. And I think it will always, I will always
want
to do
Music
that.
Music is so healing. So
love that.
Absolutely.
Let's do a little bit of manifesting.
Yes.
Let's do a little bit of manifesting.
There are some shows coming up that I'm just like, oh please, I can see myself in that.
Yeah. What kind of part? What kind of music? What is in our mind's eye?
Yeah.
Ooh, well, I am actually writing something at the moment too.
Ooh, they writing.
I am writing my first musical. And I haven't announced what it is yet. So
of course,
I won't take
don't put it in the universe because they might steal that.
Don't
from
tell
you.
nobody.
Well, no, when it's ready, and I think in the coming months there will be an opportunity for me to share more about what that is. But yeah, it was important to me as a songwriter. It's actually not an original musical, so it's not a musical that I've written the songs for. But there will be one original song in it or two. So it's coming together really beautifully. But what I feel for the future, I'm really excited to have my villain debut. Like, let me be the bad guy.
Yes!
So
oh
bad.
My gosh.
I want to be a bad girl.
Yes! Aren't villains the best?
Truly.
So much fun to play a villain.
Well, I've only had a chance to play like angel sweetie pies to this point. And while I have kindness is like one of my core values, so I really do bring that to the roles that I portray. Even when they're a sassy bitch, it's gonna be a kind sassy bitch. You know what I mean?
It's out of love.
But I really want to get a chance to play a villain, like someone who just wants to murder for no reason, just someone evil. Like, give it to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to do it.
Give us the range. They have the range. They simply have the range.
So I see that coming in my near future. But yeah, that's where I kind of see
I would, I like that is very much on my wish list as well, because I feel like villains they get the best songs, they get the best costumes, they get the best soliloquies. Like they just get it all. And I always love that, can't be fucked with kind of attitude. Like I'm gonna carry out whatever it is. I don't know. I'm always too like, I don't want to upset people, you know.
But that energy is so powerful.
It would
to tap into.
Yes, I feel like it would be so fun to try that on for size.
Absolutely.
And then just hold on to some pieces. Like, you know what? That felt good. I'm just going to hold on to that one.
Be a petty bitch till the day I die now. And I mean, I already am.
Yeah.
But
it's for a role. Wink.
I'm a bit of a method.
It's method acting. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I said before, we're seeing so many talented black people come through, and I really want to get back to that. And what I really had on my heart to share with y'all today is I think what I really want to see change in Australia is the way that we cast musicals and the way that we tell stories. I think it's untapped. Hamilton came to Australia. What year was that? 2019, 2020?
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah.
And that was seen as like, how are they going to cast it?
Yeah.
How are they going to do it? And obviously they put a great cast together and they did that. And it's like, hello, yes, we have the talent here.
Yeah.
Yes.
But what I'm really, really disappointed to see time and time again, and I will not name any shows, I will not name any producers, because it's actually an overarching problem that we have in our community here, is the way that we erase black identity from the Australian musical theatre stage. And it is something that I'm really passionate about, because the conversations I've had with people who, as a mixed race black person, I have a certain amount of privilege that allows me access to a lot of these roles. I'll be the first person to be seen for a black role.
Yeah.
Whereas someone who is not mixed or someone who is darker does not have that privilege a lot of the time. Yeah. And it's something that I'm keenly aware of. And I had a conversation with someone that was like, I'm not seeing myself. And I was like, well, what about this person? And they're like, listen to me. And I was like, I'm listening. And I had an opportunity to learn just how far we are missing the mark when it comes to cultures, genres of music that black people have created. And when they are put on musical theatre stage, we are no longer a part of that. We are not included in the creation or the bringing to life of that moment. And I just think, you know, there are musicals that have been in Australia multiple times where if you go and see that show on Broadway or anywhere else in the world, the lead roles will be held by black people.
Yes.
And I want to be specific and say people of the African diaspora, people from Africa. So, but when these musicals come to Australia, they race swapped or they are cast through a different lens. And I think the way that these producers kind of view that is we want to put on theatre that authentically reflects the talent pool that we have in Australia and it authentically reflects our community as a nation. But ain't we a part of that?
Yes, correct. Aren't black people a part of that community?
We're sitting right here.
Yeah.
I grew up here, and there's been conversations that have happened with producers that I've worked with people that work in the industry that are like, oh, we won't be celebrating Black History Month because we're tailoring our production to an Australian audience. And it's like, but Australia has a black history.
Period.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But black Australians exist. Immigrants from all over the world who identify as black live here.
Yes.
So we have a black history. And I'm all down for diversity. I will champion diversity to the end of my days.
Yes.
But if you do it by excluding others that created, that opened the doors, then what's the point?
Correct.
Absolutely.
Like, it's actually really harmful. And a lot of the time you end up having caricatures of blackness performed by non-black people on stage. And it is so alarming to me.
Yes.
It is so disarming to me. I'm just like, I sit in the audience and I go, well, if you went to West End or Broadway or literally anywhere else, a black woman would be playing this role or a black person would be playing this role. And we don't have a black person playing this role.
Don't do that to yourself.
And you're still performing blackness. You're still doing your little black sin. You're still trying to be like us. And it's like, why couldn't you bring that authenticity of your own identity to that? The thing that I really want to get to is authenticity without specificity isn't authenticity. Like, if we're going to put on a story that was originally set in Africa or on a Caribbean island or in New York City or wherever that might be, and it's about black people, or black people have told that story, that it's important that even if you recontextualize it into a different country, hello, black people are everywhere.
Absolutely.
So cast a damn black person in your next show.
Yes.
Like, I'm being dead serious. And the thing is, we don't have the privilege to be cast in roles that were not written for us either.
Yes.
Yep.
So black actors in this country, we don't get to just show up and audition for Miss Saigon.
Correct.
Or
the colorblind.
Yeah.
The color
exactly,
blindness.
we aren't being seen for those shows. So
Yeah.
why is it that we're being erased from our own stories? It just makes no sense to
I
me.
agree
It's
with
time
you.
for that to change. I think no one's really having that conversation. I'm actually really nervous talking about it right now, but I'm actually really passionate about it, and I will continue to speak up on it because we be doing it.
We do.
Yeah.
We go and see Tina, and the talent is here.
Here.
Even if you see an amateur theater production, black people are doing it at a level that simply no one else is doing it at. So
Yes.
it's time to
Absolutely.
be recognized and to be earning that check on a professional level.
Yes.
That's my rant finished.
No, period.
that's
No,
a
but it's
beautiful rant.
exactly that. It's like we deserve to have a seat at the table
Correct.
if we are a truly equal and fair society. Because without the authenticity, it's just mimicry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's foolishness, is what it is.
And it's really offensive.
very offensive.
Yeah. So either we get erased from our own stories, or the other thing that happens a lot in Australian musical theatre is the imports. And we did mention Colby before, and this is no shade to Colby. People are going to take a job, especially if it's across the world, because also that's such an exciting opportunity. I simply
Yes.
would do the
Yeah,
same.
yeah.
If London calls, I'm picking up the phone.
Yeah.
But also it can come to a point where you put on a show, you get a whole chunk
Oh, that's right.
of imports, and you end up having an Australian community of black people that are like, I guess we're not good enough. Or I
Yeah, I
guess
get
you don't
that.
think we're good enough. And it's really heartbreaking to see that happening as well. And there's been some interesting conversations where people who are not black have been like, well, with something like Hairspray, you know, there's a real specific black experience that Americans have. And it's like, well, that is true. I'm sitting here with two black American people right now.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely not going to argue that. But why aren't they importing the white people to play the white Americans? If the American
so
identity is
so
so like
important.
untouchable,
Yeah.
then why aren't we importing white people from overseas to come and play roles here? But no,
True.
white people in Australia have the privilege to be able to go, oh, I'll do my research or not, and put on whatever performance that I'll do.
And whatever
But
accent.
Oh
black
my
people here are
God.
like, I could be Seaweed, or I could be Lola, or I could be Simba, but we just don't get an opportunity to step into those roles because of whatever reason. I personally don't know. I mean, I actually do know, but we won't get into it because it's just going to be too real. But yeah, it's just really interesting that there's this double standard happening. And that's something, as a young performer, my eyes are now set to producing, to directing, to writing. And it's like,
Building
okay,
that
well,
table.
no one else is going to do it. I'm finna do it.
That's-
You know what I mean?
That's what it is, because we've been saying, I'm like, you know what, ultimately, I would love to see Melbourne become a theater and arts capital of
Absolutely.
Australia. And ultimately, we're just going to have to start writing our own things in order to see those things
100%.
come to fruition. Because if we wait for someone else to do it, honey, we're going to be waiting
Wait a
for a
long-ass time.
very
Yeah,
long time.
We've got to do it, and we actually have the talent, and we've proven that.
Yes.
It's time. And anyone listening that you're like, you have an idea for something, please do it.
Yes.
That's the
Yeah.
only permission you need. The idea came to you, baby. Like, get
Yes.
it down, write it, have the discipline to write it. Share it. It doesn't have to be put
Perfect.
on the biggest production. It doesn't have to be the biggest moment. You can start small. I personally did. That's how my journey started, doing amateur theater. Just begin. Like,
Just begin
I'm
to
begging
start.
you to do it. And network, and it's so important. And I really can't wait for the future of our country, because the future of musical theater is black.
Yes.
And I'm really, really excited to see that come to fruition.
Yes. Period.
Beautiful. That was gorgeous. That's actually a beautiful way to wrap as well. Like
Yeah.
this whole experience. Thank you. First of all, thank you for coming
Yes.
here.
Thank you, Jesse.
that was-
Honestly, thank you for having me. It's been truly such a
Yes.
blessing.
As the person who's producing and the editing in the background, anytime there's episodes like this, when I get like those chills, like I know it's going to be an episode that's going to pop off. And I can tell you right now, this episode is going to touch people. Like I've had an ear for this since day one, and I know the episode's like, wow, We cooked here. And like, I'm no carpenter, but we're building a table, and we're gonna build the biggest fucking table in the world. And I'm so glad that you're here.
Yes.
So grateful for your experience, and so grateful to see where you go. Like, this is just beyond, absolutely
Thank you so
beyond.
much.
Yes,
Really
and thank you
appreciate
for
it.
coming here and sharing your story with us, and then putting that fire into our listeners as well, and people out there who are thinking or have an idea, who would love to see a certain kind of story. Just start. Just start. Just try. It doesn't have to be perfect. Starting is better than perfect.
Absolutely.
Attempting is better than
Absolutely.
perfect. Perfect doesn't really do anything for anybody.
It barely exists.
Yeah, white people be doing it all the time.
Listen.
They don't need to wait for permission. They just do it.
No,
So
but
it's time
They
for
don't
us to
need
start
permission.
acting like that with that sense of, because we know who we
Don't
are.
need permission.
Yes.
And we are the experts of our own experiences, so please write it down.
Yes.
That's all I have to say.
Yes. Well, more black art. More
more
black art.
Absolutely. Jinx.
Yay!
And more black joy.
Yes.
Write your
Yes.
joyful stories too. It doesn't just have
1000%.
to be about black trauma.
We don't need any more trauma
Yes.
porn.
That's my add-on.
Absolutely.
Done,
No,
done.
I think that's a great idea, because we need to see more of that as well. Because I would love to see like a black coming of age story, like for a girl, or female coming of age stories like don't really happen.
Wow.
And then like I couldn't tell you a single black one. Could not tell you a single black one.
Wow.
In movie and theater or otherwise.
You're so right.
Looks like somebody's got to start writing.
I know, but I'm scared. But
Follow
I
your
will
own
try.
advice.
just said.
Follow your own advice, Nicole. And we're recording it. So I'll be sitting there with you. I'll be editing it for you, but we're gonna do it.
Get those
Alright.
pages, baby. Start.
We're gonna lead by example, and that's exactly why we're brought here. As we
Fine.
said, the idea didn't pop up to you.
Yeah.
Didn't pop up to me.
Yeah.
It's gonna,
And that's
it's,
the only permission you need.
no, it's like
Yeah.
I know that Black Chick Abroad is going to be on stage someday.
Yes.
Oh.
I know it's going to happen. I know it's coming. I still don't exactly know the how, but I know it's there, because I do want to tell my story, and I do want to include all the people that I have met on this journey. And all the different types of cultures that do exist here, because I feel like there's nothing really out there displaying it the way that it's actually being lived.
Speak on it.
So,
I can't wait.
oh God, okay, but it'll be great.
It will be
Yeah.
great. I'm gonna say it with the confidence. It will be great.
It is. It
Because
exists
we
already
are.
in your heart. And I could tell by the way that you just spoke about that it exists.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've lived it.
And it's bubbling
Yeah.
inside. You just gotta
So
open.
your heart has seen it. So
Yeah.
it just needs to tell your hands what to write, and it will.
Do it. That was me
so
whispering to my
excited.
hands.
Oh, yeah,
Yes, Black Riders.
Black writers, Black creatives. Here's to being more creative the rest of this year and beyond. But until next time, I'm Ri'chard,
And I'm Nicole.
and this has been Melanated in Melbourne.
See ya.
Bye.
This has been Melanated in Melbourne, a podcast that analyzes the Australian lifestyle from the lens of two Black American besties. Visit us at melanatedinmelbourne.com or follow us on Instagram to send us your comments or questions. Thank you for listening.